Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. Moving in the same direction and doing it united, then the movement forward is always so much more powerful.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our U.S.-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, and 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. 5 o'clock. Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 2nd. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Clouds today. Mix of snow and rain. No accumulation here in the city, but north and west you could get about 2 inches before the storm moves out tonight. The high 40. Tonight, overnight, cloudy, low 32. And then Wednesday, the sun reappears, high 39. If you're walking out the door with us right now, it is 41 and cloudy in East Hampton out on Long Island. It's 33 and cloudy in South Plainfield over in New Jersey. And it's 30 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
It looks like New York City will have 3 new casinos. A sad goodbye to a city firefighter. Will voters show up in Jersey City today to pick a new mayor? The search continues for a missing Rutgers student. Will porch pirate law stop the stealing? All right, let's get into it at 5:01. There is a little bit of chance of snow if you're in northwestern New Jersey up in the Hudson Valley. This morning, DPW crews are out. In fact, you're probably listening to us at this hour. Some places have already been salted ahead of potential flakes falling a little bit later today. Thomas Meyer is the commissioner for the City of Yonkers Department of Public Works.
They fill their trucks up with salt, and then they go out to their assigned routes. Changes drastically around 287 in White Plains. There's times where they get an inch or two of snow, and we're getting less than a half an inch of snow. So be careful.
Yeah, okay. So just be careful if you're out there in those sections. Again, it's not expected to be too bad. Here in the city, the immediate surrounding suburbs, it'll be a snow-rain mix that will not accumulate. Of course, we'll keep on top of it right here all day, all morning long, right here, 77 WABC. It looks like 2 casinos will be coming to Queens, 1 to the Bronx. The New York State Gaming Facility Location Board voted yesterday to recommend casino licenses for the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Queens by Citi Field, Resorts World at the Aqueduct Racetrack, and Bally's proposal for Ferry Point up in the Bronx.
Each project proposes to deliver substantial community benefits, including infrastructure and transit improvements, local business partnerships.
That's board member Greg Ramirez also pointed to a huge amount of state and local tax revenue from the casinos. Governor Hochul, she says the 3 casino projects promise to unlock billions in funding for the MTA, create tens of thousands of jobs.
Applicants made ambitious commitments to workforce diversity, community investment, and local unionized hiring.
All right, later, coming up after 5:30 this morning, we'll hear from the other side. There are a lot of people, especially those opposed to the casino that would go up next to Citi Field. They were speaking out yesterday. We'll hear from them after 5:30. WABC News Time 5:03. Shots were fired last night inside the Times Square subway station underneath the Port Authority.
No one was hurt, and 2 men are in custody. 1 or 2 shots were fired between 8:15 and 8:30 Monday night in the lower level of the 42nd Street Port Authority bus terminal subway station near where the A, C, and E lines come in. One shell casing was found. The area was quickly reopened to the public. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer speaking out yesterday, saying 3 of his New York offices have been targeted recently with bomb threats.
The bomb threats against my offices came with the email subject line MAGA and from an email address alleging the 2020 election was rigged.
The offices, he said, that were targeted were in Rochester, Binghamton, and out on Long Island. They each received threats in email form that came on Monday.
As I've said many times, these kinds of violent threats have absolutely no place in our political system. No one, no public servant, no staffer, no constituent, no citizen should ever be targeted for simply doing their job.
Now, what police told us is that security teams swept all 3 of those offices, thankfully found no explosives. There was a final farewell yesterday to former FDNY Deputy Chief James Jimmy Riches as hundreds gathered for his funeral at St. Patrick Roman Catholic Church in Bay Ridge. Riches, a retired 30-year veteran of the department, he passed away on Thanksgiving from a 9/11 related illness. Former FDNY Commissioner Sal Casano knew Riches for almost 50 years.
Jimmy was a special kind of person, you know. A great firefighter, great father.
Riches was a father of 4, all of whom joined the FDNY, including his eldest son, Jimmy Jr., who died on 9/11. You may remember his story. Riches found his son's remains at Ground Zero months after the 9/11 attacks.
Jimmy was one of we called them the fathers at the World Trade Center, a group of fathers that were looking for their sons. They were our inspiration. They made us work harder.
Yeah, the FDNY lost 343 firefighters on September 11th. Since then, they've lost more than 400 firefighters due to 9/11 related illnesses.
Jimmy was one of our advocates. Jimmy went to Washington many times for us. He fought for benefits for the families of the people that were killed and for us that are still living.
Yeah, did great work in Washington. By the way, Sal Casano, the former FDNY commissioner, who I know is one of the greatest people I know. He's a great guy as well. So are all the firefighters for that matter. Jim Brosi, who's president of the Uniform Fire Officers Association, says the fight is still taking a toll on the FDNY, and they continue to battle with Washington to make sure the funding gets to people who are getting sick, still with new illnesses, even all these years later after the 9/11 attacks. WABC News Time 5:06. The White House says it's praying for the full recovery of one of those 2 National Guard members that were shot in Washington, D.C. last week. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt paying tribute to the National Guard members yesterday.
Sarah and Andrew are heroes, and we will never forget their sacrifice. That means ensuring the monster responsible for this atrocity is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and faces the most severe punishment possible.
The alleged gunman, 29-year-old Afghan national who worked with the CIA during the Afghanistan war and came to the U.S. in 2021. Now, Sarah Beckstrom died after Wednesday's shooting last week, while Andrew Wolf, he remains in serious condition this morning. Leavitt blaming former President Biden's hurried Afghan withdrawal for the gunfire.
We continue to live with the deadly consequences of Joe Biden's horrific leadership. Nearly 100,000 Afghans were recklessly released into the United States with little to no vetting. There was no regard for the disorder and violence that this would unleash on American communities and American culture. The tragedy that we just witnessed the day before Thanksgiving is a reminder that untold thousands of terrorists, gang members, and criminals were invited into our country and remain here to this very day.
The White House since paused U.S. visas for Afghan nationals. WABC News Time 5:09. The White House doubling down on its use of lethal force against alleged Venezuelan drug boats. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked about a Washington Post report that Secretary of War Pete Hegseth ordered the killing of everyone on board an alleged drug boat in the Caribbean, leading to a second strike to eliminate 2 people who survived that first strike.
To the strikes in question on September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated. eliminated.
Levitt says all aspects of the September strike were legal, but would not confirm if the second strike was specifically targeting survivors of the first one.
Because this administration has designated these narco-terrorists as foreign terrorist organizations. The president has a right to take them out if they are threatening the United States of America and if they are bringing illegal narcotics that are killing our citizens at a record rate.
While we're overseas, President Trump putting pressure on Ukraine and Russia to finally strike a peace deal. National Security Institute's Lester Munson says this is an extremely difficult move since Russia invaded and the Ukrainians are defending themselves.
The U.S. is not going to get directly militarily involved in this conflict. And so what we're looking for is a peace settlement that's as fair to the Ukrainians as it plausibly can be.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio says he's optimistic after meeting with Ukrainian officials in Florida last week. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, he's in Moscow today.
The Russians want all of Ukraine. Ukraine wants all of its own country. This is a hard thing they're negotiating. Vladimir Putin's not going to agree to something that makes him look like a loser, or he's probably going to be killed in Moscow by the people around him, realistically. So this is a very difficult negotiation.
But the conversations, they continue today in Moscow. 5'11", one of the sons of Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, pleading guilty yesterday to drug trafficking charges in Chicago. Lopez's attorney speaking after he entered that guilty plea.
The government has been very fair with Joaquin thus far. This has been an unusual case, obviously, as you all can imagine, when he was brought over here. But I'm hoping for the best.
Prosecutors say he admitted to running the notorious and ruthless cartel, confessing to carrying out a kidnapping plot and a promise to cooperate with the government for a lighter sentence. Sentencing that's scheduled for later next year, probably June 1. The World Health Organization is now recommending GLP-1 drugs as a tool for managing obesity around the world.
The WHO's new guidelines are published in the medical journal JAMA. It says the drugs, which include Eli Lilly's Zepbound and Novo Nordisk's Wegovy, represent a new chapter in the shift in how society approaches obesity. Rather than viewing it as a lifestyle condition, WHO officials are hopeful that obesity will be viewed as a complex, preventable, and treatable chronic disease. Growing evidence suggests that GLP-1 drugs lower the risk of high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes linked to obesity. I'm Jim Roop.
Costco going to sue the White House, the Trump administration now over refunds on tariffs.
The retail giant asked the Court of International Trade to consider all tariffs collected under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act unlawful. Costco is seeking a full refund of all duties under the act that were paid under Trump's executive order on reciprocal tariffs. I'm Mark Mayfield.
5:14, the results of President Trump's MRI, they've been released. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt telling reporters the results for the whole body scans are normal, adding that the tests were done as a form of preventative medicine, which is advised for people in the president's age group.
Overall, his cardiovascular system shows excellent health. His abdominal imaging is also perfectly normal.
The president, now 79 years old, Trump was asked about the tests aboard Air Force One over the weekend. He said they weren't for his brain, adding that he had taken a cognitive test and had aced that. The White House press secretary talking more about the president's MRI.
The purpose of this imaging is preventative, to identify any issues early, confirm overall health, and ensure the president maintains long-term vitality and function.
In a moment, we'll tell you why you might want to think about getting one of those real IDs if you haven't already. But first, 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Good morning, Justin Ellick.
Good morning to you, Noam Layden. We'll start here on the gridiron out in New England, Monday Night Football. The New York Football Giants and Jackson Dart got shellacked by the Patriots on Monday Night Football. The final score 33-15. Giants now 2-11, lost their 7th straight game and 3rd in a row since firing former coach Brian Daboll. Rookie quarterback Jackson Dart returned after missing 2 games because of a concussion, but there wasn't much he could do. Dart threw a touchdown pass to Darius Slayton and finished 17 of 24 for 139 yards. Devin Singletary added a touchdown run. The Giants defense started the game well, holding the Patriots to a field goal on the game's opening possession in its first game under the direction of interim coordinator Charlie Bullen. Bullen was elevated to the role after Shane Bowen was fired 12 games into his second season. Rookie linebacker Abdul Carter didn't play in the first quarter for what Coach Mike Kafka said was the coach's decision, but not disciplinary. Marks the second time the number 3 overall pick in the draft was benched at the start of a game. He was previously held out of the first series of New York's November 16th loss to Green Bay. So clearly some issues off the field there for Mr. Carter. Up next for the Giants, they'll enjoy their bye week before hosting Washington come week 15. Head to the NBA.
Wait, did you I think you buried the best story of the night at that football game.
What?
The Giants kicker, Young-Ho Koo.
Oh, yeah, his shoe.
He, what's that? What's his name?
Young-Ho Koo.
Koo, I have it right.
It was his shoe, right? He had an issue with his shoe?
I don't know. He went to kick a field goal, and he hit the turf instead of the football. And then, of course, it was too late to try to kick it, so, Patriots defense ran in and were able to tackle the guy holding the ball.
So he took a divot on a kick.
He never touched the ball. Like, he went to kick the ball. It was almost like, remember the Peanuts? Where Lucy would hold the football?
Sure.
So, it was kind of like that.
Charlie Brown,
yeah. It was a wacky moment. I was like, what is going on
That's got to be the first time most people have ever seen that. An NFL kicker missing the football.
I don't think that's ever happened before. At least
a swing and a miss.
Yeah.
I mean, there can't even... I'm even surprised there's a rule regarding that in the rule book because it just so rarely ever happens, right. I would imagine. But what do you do if the kicker misses the ball? I guess it's a fumble. There you go.
Yeah, normally he's a pretty good kicker.
Yeah.
But to miss the ball completely, that's a little embarrassing.
Everything seems to be a little bit out of sorts over there in Giants.
Just a little, yeah.
Just add it to the playbook for the Giants.
Yeah,
that's all
exactly.
I would do.
It's
so
probably,
that teams won't expect it now.
Yeah, it's probably the most exciting play yet.
Yeah.
Out in Brooklyn on the hardwood here, Michael Porter Jr.
You're using the missed kick play.
I mean, honestly, if it's a fumble, why didn't one of the Giants just run in, pick it up, and start running with it?
Well, I think he did try to start running with it. But,
okay.
Yeah, didn't work out well.
New York football.
Yeah. Oh God, it's exciting, man. Head to the hardwood here. Hey, the Nets got a win, I should say. Michael Porter Jr. He went for 35. Noah Clowney had 18, and the Nets beat the Hornets 116-103. Up next for them, they'll visit the Bulls in Chicago tomorrow night. Knicks back at it tonight out in Boston against the Celtics. That's an 8 p.m. tip-off. To the ice quickly here in Jersey, the Devils lost 5-3 to the visiting Columbus Blue Jackets. Up next for them, they'll host the Dallas Stars tomorrow night. Doubleheader on the ice to look forward to tonight. The Islanders will welcome in the Tampa Bay Lightning at 7 p.m. Also at 7, the Rangers. They're back at home hosting the Dallas Stars. And off-season news out of the MLB, the Mets and reliever Devin Williams agreed to a 3-year, $51 million deal, giving the club a replacement for Edwin Diaz should the All-Star closer sign elsewhere. The contract has no opt-outs for options, but includes a $6 million signing bonus spread over the 3 seasons. Obviously, Williams was across town with the Yankees in the Bronx all of last season. Bit of an underwhelming season for the former top closer in the MLB, but we'll see if he has a change of pace across town there in Queens. That is your Sports Know, man. I'm Justin Ehrlich on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 521. Travelers without a real ID will have to fork over a $45 fee now to go through TSA checkpoints starting next year.
As we all pause to catch our breath following the Thanksgiving travel crush, a new potential headache for travelers when heading to the airport and going through security checkpoints. The TSA announcing this week the new fee will go into effect February 1st. Okay, an $18 fee had originally been proposed last month, so this basically double that. To pay the fee, travelers need to visit TSA.gov to verify their identity before heading to the airport, and then that's valid for 10 days. Worth noting, travelers can still use a passport as a form of ID to fly domestically as well. James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
WABC News Time 525 down to Texas, where dozens of new laws go into effect this week, including what's called a bathroom bill. It's the Texas Women's Privacy Act, which conservatives have been pushing for about a decade now.
Worked on for about the last 8 years, so definitely a huge victory.
That's Mary Elizabeth Castle with Texas Values. She says the bill slaps limits on women's restrooms and locker rooms rooms, restricting them based on your biological sex.
It also includes, correctional facilities, prisons.
Now, fines would start at about $25,000, go up to $125,000.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me, 5:36. Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 2nd. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Clouds today. So here in the city, the immediate suburbs will see a mix of snow and rain during the course of the day, but no real accumulation. It'll be mostly rain, but if you're north and west of the city, you could get a couple inches of snow before the storm moves out this evening, the high 40. And then tonight and overnight, cloudy, low 32. Wednesday, sunshine, high 39. If you're walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are. 41 cloudy in East Hampton out on Long Island. It's 33 and cloudy in South Plainfield over in New Jersey. And it's 30 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 5:39. 2 people taken into custody last night after gunshots were fired inside the subway station that's run underneath the Port Authority bus terminal. The NYPD says 1 bullet was fired. We're getting differing accounts, but it seems 1 bullet was fired. This was around 8:30 last night. 2 men had some sort of dispute. As you might guess, it is a busy subway station. There were a lot of eyewitnesses.
I saw like a bunch of kids. They was messing around, a bunch of teenagers. They was like wearing all leather or black. They was messing around. It looked like they was having a good time, and then something went off, like a big sound. It sounded like a gunshot, but I'm not really too sure what it was. And all I know that everybody started running, and I just stood here continue rapping.
When he says he was continue rapping is because he was actually down performing, when this all took place, and, shot fired. He said, okay, everything's okay, and he continued to rap. Investigators, they taped off this area of the station to collect evidence. Apparently 1 bullet shell casing was found.
We just heard a shot in the hallway. Everybody ducked. Everybody started running. Everybody started screaming. It was either just a warning shot or maybe he aimed and missed. But everybody was scared. It happened so fast, I didn't even know. I'm just glad I didn't see anybody get hit.
Again, about 8:30 last night. So far, no charges have been filed. I imagine they will be before the morning is out. Police searching for men who broke into a high-end Soho boutique. This was early Monday morning. Stole really pricey merchandise worth millions of dollars. The owner of Soho boutique 4G seller says the value of the stolen items is about $2 million. And they say whoever broke in knew exactly what they were looking for. The owner spoke to Channel 7.
We got an alarm alert and looked at the cameras, and there was 2 guys in here masked up in construction crew outfits, headlamps. They sort of targeted it, like they knew exactly what they were going for.
Yes, I was watching this surveillance video this morning. It shows the thieves smashing their way into the second floor boutique from the fire escape. It took place about 4:30 a.m. This store is on Spring Street. Spring Street, that time of day, is normally quiet. They almost look like a construction crew. I imagine that was on purpose.
They had garbage bags on them, and they were just dropping them off the balcony, and someone was running into the car. They were in and out of the store in 4.5 minutes, and they left, and 91 seconds later, the NYPD was here. 4 minutes after that, we were here.
Now, the men grabbed custom-designed clothes, belts, bags, and jewelry from 4G sellers' curated collection. The shop caters to celebrity clients by appointment only. They kept their appointments, by the way, yesterday as the NYPD crime scene detectives went through the shop, looking at the broken glass, looking for any clue to who was behind the heist. But clearly, these people had done their homework. Neighbors in the building say this guy who owns the store is a good dude.
He's been working super hard, so I feel really bad. I mean, he's really dedicated to this business.
Yeah, some of the stolen items are worth tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Many of them apparently are one of a kind. So far, police have made no arrests. Some frightening moments for Senator Schumer and his staff.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says his offices in Rochester, Binghamton, and on Long Island got bomb threats on Monday.
The bomb threats against my offices came with the email subject line MAGA. and from an email address alleging the 2020 election was rigged.
Security sweeps were conducted and no explosives were found. The Senate's top Democrat released a statement saying these kinds of violent threats have absolutely no place in our political system. Lisa Ritchie, 77 WABC News.
WABC News Time 543. Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani giving his support to striking workers at Starbucks yesterday. The 34-year-old brought along his 84-year-old political colleague, Senator Bernie Sanders. They walked the picket line with Starbucks workers who have been on the picket line for a couple of weeks now.
These are not demands of greed. These are demands for decency.
Those workers, they walked off the job last month in several cities, including New York. They're protesting $18 an hour wages, erratic work hours, and unpredictable scheduling.
They do tend to just haphazardly schedule you.
Right now we want to fight for fair consistency and obviously a living working schedule and wage.
Senator Bernie Sanders, he joined Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani on the picket line. This was outside of Starbucks in Park Slope, Brooklyn, where workers are demanding those better wages and working conditions.
You're seeing more and more candidates standing up exactly the same way that Zohran did.
In a separate development, Starbucks has agreed to compensate some of its workers after reaching a settlement with the city of New York over scheduling practices that violated city worker protection laws. The lawsuit was brought by the Adams administration after a flood of worker complaints. On Monday, the company said it was instituting bigger rosters, bigger schedules, and upgrades to their scheduling tools. 544, members of the New York Gaming Facility Location Board voting yesterday to recommend licenses to operate 3 casinos in the city. 2 will be in Queens, one at the Aqueduct Racetrack. The other one will be next to Citi Field. Stephen Cohen, of course, the owner of the Mets, he would be part of that deal. A lot of people upset about this, especially against the one in Queens that's near Citi Field. That community has been fighting this for a while, and they're very upset that they got the green light yesterday.
Every single person on Governor Kathy Hochul's Gaming Facility Location Board has cemented their legacy today. A predatory state-sponsored racket that steals money from an Asian immigrant working class community and gives that money to a billionaire that's already worth $20 billion and owns a $1 billion private art collection.
Now, that's a member of the community. Now, lawmakers in that area would push back against that. They'll say this is great for the community, money coming in, jobs as well. The 5-member board made on-site visits to all the proposed casino locations ahead of the meeting yesterday, where they issued the recommendations for those 2 in Queens, and then the other one is up in the Bronx. But these protesters, they were out yesterday.
Our seniors and working people have long been dehumanized by casino operators, treated as cash cows to milk for money.
Yeah, so up next in the process, the State Gaming Commission will vote on the board's recommendations by the end of the month. But the commission is expected to follow the board's recommendations, so it looks like those casinos will happen. In a moment, we'll go to Jersey City, where there's actually a mayoral election today. We'll find out if people will show up. We'll do that. But first, 546, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Here's Justin Ellick.
Thank you, Noah Maladen. We'll start here on the gridiron in New England. Monday Night Football. Jackson Dart and the Giants, they got shellacked by the Patriots. Final score 33-15. They're 2-11 now. They lost their 7th straight game and 3rd in a row since firing former coach Brian Dable. Rookie quarterback Jackson Dart returned after missing 2 games because of a concussion, but there wasn't much he could do. Threw a touchdown pass to Darius Slayton and finished 17 of 24 for 139 yards. Devin Singletary added a touchdown run. Giants defense started the game well, holding the Patriots to a field goal on the game's opening possession in its first game under the direction of interim coordinator Charlie Bullen. Bullen was elevated to the role after Shane Bowen was fired 12 games into his 2nd season. Rookie linebacker Abdul Carter didn't play in the first quarter for what coach Mike Kafka said was a coach's decision, not disciplinary. It marks the 2nd time the number 3 overall pick in the draft was benched at the start of a game. He was previously held out of the first series of New York's November 16th loss to Green Bay. Up next for the Giants, they'll enjoy their bye week before hosting Washington come week 15. To the hardwood in Brooklyn, the Nets and Michael Porter Jr. beat the Charlotte Hornets 116-103. Porter Jr. with 35. Noah Clowney with 18. Nick Claxton added 13, 11, and 6 for Brooklyn, which had lost 4 in a row. Reserves Danny Wolf and Drake Powell each scored 10. Porter went 7 for 11 from three-point range. Nets went 17 for 43 from beyond the arc overall, compared to 12 for 32 for the Hornets. Up next for Brooklyn, they'll visit the Bulls in Chicago tomorrow night. And the Knicks, they're back in action tonight out in Boston against the Celtics. That'll be an 8 p.m. tip-off there. Now to the ice in Jersey. The Devils fell 5-3 to visiting Columbus Blue Jackets. Up next for them, they'll host the Dallas Stars tomorrow night. Doubleheader to look forward to on the ice tonight. And 2 7 p.m. puck drops at that. The Islanders host the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Rangers will welcome in the Dallas Stars. And some off-season news and some local dealings between the Mets and the Yankees. Well, the Yankees not really involved in this one, as he was a free agent. Devin Williams, that is, and the Mets agreeing to a 3-year, $51 million deal, giving the club a replacement for Edwin Diaz should the All-Star closer sign elsewhere. The contract has no opt-outs for options, but includes a $6 million signing bonus spread over the 3 seasons. Of course, Williams spending last year crosstown in the Bronx with the Yankees. That is your Sports Know, man. I'm Justin Ehrlich on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 550. Everybody's trying to figure out what the election of Zohran Mamdani is going to mean to New York City's economy. Will the wealthy leave the city? Well, sales of expensive homes in New York, they rose over Thanksgiving week.
Despite predictions the wealthy would flee New York, Olshan Realty reports that in the holiday-shortened week, 19 contracts were signed for homes for at least $4 million. The top contract was for a 61st floor condo with Central Park views for $23 million. The second was for a 4-story townhouse in Greenwich Village for $20 million for a home built in 1899. The value of the 19 contracts signed last week was $189 million. Joe Connolly, 77 WABC News.
Let's head over to New Jersey, where the victims of a tragic fire in Plainfield were identified after a blaze killed 2 parents, displaced dozens of residents Sunday. The fire broke out on West Front Street around 1 a.m. Sunday morning. Now we know who the victims are. It is Leonel Garcia Cortez and his wife, Maria Guaya. They died in the fire. They were able to get their kids out, though, who are 17 and 11 years old. Now the community is coming together to try to help those 2 kids.
I would like to know if we can do something right now. You know, where are they? What can we do? You know, how can we help? And I'm sure not only me, but a lot of people want to help.
Yeah, the building remains off limits after more than 70 tenants were displaced on Sunday. Local churches are now asking for donations, and people who heard about the fire have been showing up to ask how they can help not just those 2 kids who lost their parents, but people who have been displaced by that blaze. It's not clear what started it yet. 5:52, it has been 10 days now since anybody has seen a missing Rutgers student. His name is Morty Wortman. He was last seen in Jackson Township. His friends, his relatives, police have been searching all over, especially this wooded area near the family home, without any luck. Wortman's brother, his name is Ivan, says he's growing concerned that the search area, which is this wooded section of Jackson Township, may not be where his brother is, that they're looking in the wrong place.
I don't think he's in the woods. I think he's somewhere else. I don't want to assume the worst.
Morty Wortman is a 22-year-old senior at Rutgers, New Brunswick. This semester, his brother said Wortman had been commuting to the school each day for classes. Morty's car was discovered in the parking lot of the Regional Day School in Jackson. That was back on November 21st. They've been calling him. Calls have not gone through. Nobody knows where he is.
And we've been just scraping and sweeping through the entire, wooded area. And again, it's a lot of ground to cover. We have those lingering questions with, is there another location to search? Is there anywhere else where we can get more answers? he's so destined for greatness that, it can't end here.
And family members saying yesterday and over the last couple of days, if he's gone off on his own and something's gone wrong, that he should reach out to his family. They say everything will be okay. And of course, after 10 days, they're just hoping they find him alive. 5:54 while we're in Jersey, New Jersey. Jersey City voters going to pick a new mayor today on a runoff election. The mayor off pits 68-year-old former Governor Jim McGreevey, who's trying to make a comeback, versus 41-year-old city council member James Solomon. McGreevey attempting to make this comeback after, you remember, he was forced to resign as governor all those years ago. Remember, he made that speech, "I'm a gay American." Well, Solomon is a two-term councilman whose grandfather once ran the Federal Reserve. Many voters in Jersey City say this has become a tale of two cities. One, the very wealthy, and then one, the working class people who live there. So voters say they're looking for somebody who will make the city more affordable. Sound familiar, like New York City? Here's both James Solomon, you'll hear him first, and Jim McGreevey talking about how they can make Jersey City affordable.
We're going to audit every tax rate that's given out to a developer. We're going to audit the payroll tax that corporations are required to pay, but we think many are skimping on.
It's not only just allowing market rate housing to be built, but having 20% set aside for affordable housing over that market rate. It's not only just having that market rate housing being built, but it's an opportunity for job and employment for young people in the community.
James Solomon, who kind of sees himself as the Jersey City version of Zohran Mamdani, got the most votes in a 7-way election on November 4th, but he didn't get 50%, which is why there's this runoff. McGreevey came in second. That's why he's in the runoff. Here's Solomon promising to take on the developers, which have sort of reshaped the skyline over the last decade in Jersey City.
I, on the other hand, want to force them to build affordable housing. Some of that is genuinely affordable. Rent's $1,000 a month and under. Rent's $1,500 a month and under. The former governor is critical of that plan.
When you say that you're going to give somebody $1,000 a month rent, with all due respect, Councilman Solomon, you're not living in that $1,000 a month rent facility because, if you were to do $1,000 a month rents, the size of the blueprint is going to be inadequate for a family.
It's hard to imagine these guys are going to have an easy time making Jersey City affordable. It's awfully expensive right now. Voters, the question there is, will they show up? And, of course, everybody's trying to get out their base today.
There's a lot of overcrowding in the respect that the infrastructure isn't coming up to meet all of the new building.
Yeah, and I will point out, there's somebody running for the city council at-large seat in Jersey City. Her name is Meredith Burns, and the reason I bring her up is her mom is a regular listener to the News Hour at 5 a.m. every single day, and she reached out to me to say, hey, vote for my daughter. I thought that was awesome.
Is that true?
Yes. So if you're in Jersey City today and you're a fan of the News Hour, make sure you vote for Meredith Burns, right? Doesn't that make sense?
Burns.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, you should vote for her because she's a fan of WABC, and if you're a fan of the News Hour.
Well, I can't vote for her.
And vote for, you can, but I can in Jersey City.
Yes, you're very, very big in Jersey City.
I'm huge.
Huge.
So let's see if we can drag Meredith Burns across the finish line.
Does she have a chance?
I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow morning or tonight when
Meredith
the results come
Burns.
out. Yeah.
I will mention it twice during the morning show.
Okay. I have no idea who to vote for mayor. Maybe you can help me with that.
Well, didn't you pick McGreevey?
No, because one guy says he's the Zohran Mamdani of Jersey City.
Well, you can't have that guy.
And then you got McGreevey is the other guy.
And he's gay and...
Well, that's not the reason you might not vote
No, that's
for
why
him.
you have to vote for him.
Oh, is it?
Of course.
Okay.
Otherwise, they'll describe you as a homophobic.
No, I was just thinking about his past, that's all. It has nothing to do with him being gay.
His past was great.
Fine that
the
he's
guy
gay.
was a great governor.
Was he?
Yes.
Don't you remember he left in disgrace?
Because of the gay issue.
No, it wasn't because of the gay issue.
What are you talking about? He was sitting with some Israeli guy.
Who he gave the job of Homeland Security, head of Homeland Security in New Jersey, a year after the 9/11 attacks, and the guy had no qualifications to do it.
Because he was gay.
No, because he was his lover. That's why.
Well, a gay lover. So you're holding the gay thing against him.
No, it has nothing to do with him. Anybody that puts their lover into a job that they have no qualifications for, that's a problem.
Really?
The guy had no qualifications. He had nothing. He'd been in the Israeli army. That was his only qualification.
That's kind of cool if you ask me.
Gay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's Neil Rogers.
Gay.
He was very gay.
Yeah.
I like guys.
So by the
end, Neil God, yes,
yeah.
All right. So Meredith Burns is our choice.
That's the easy one. The hard one is trying to figure out who to vote for mayor.
What if she's gay?
I don't.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Who cares?
I do. So does Neil Rogers.
He does.
Gay. Yeah. See?
All right.
Gay. You're gay.
Yeah. Traffic, transit now. Here's Joe Nolan.
Look, he's a nice guy, though. We do
Very nice guy, yeah.
Nice guy, yeah, definitely.
So that's who I should vote for?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.